Good morning. Sarah Whitten here of Sarah Whitten Voice and Yoga, and it is about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on October 16th, and I wanted to hop in here this morning to talk with you a little bit about hormones and your body and your voice, and tell you about an event that I am sponsoring that's happening next Thursday and invite you to join me. So I want to tell you a little story about me. I turn 46 next month, and about 3 years ago, I had progressively been experiencing changes that were showing up in my mood. They were showing up in a lot of bloating, and the big thing for me that I was experiencing that really had me stumped was anxiety. I had never really experienced anxiety before outside of like what I would consider normal nerves and whatnot. Good morning, Elizabeth. I'd get nervous before performances. I would be nervous before something big happening, but never anything like this where I would be just in the middle of like working with a singer, teaching a lesson. All of a sudden I would feel this like wave of anxiety come over me. And I finally started to really pay attention to it. And I noticed that the closer I got to my cycle, the worse the anxiety would get. And 3 years ago, I also developed really bad vertigo. And even though I went to PT, I had the Epley maneuver, this vertigo really attacked my inner ear, and I completely lost my ability to balance. And I went through physical therapy, but I was really down for the count for like 3 weeks. And unfortunately, in that time, my husband was having to travel to Kansas for work. So thank goodness my mom came down and could kind of take over running the household and taking care of the kids and all of that. But he was home on the weekends and then would leave like Sunday night or Monday. And I remember being on the couch, still not really able to be up and around, very close to getting my period, and talking with him and having the worst anxiety attack I had ever had. I was in tears. I didn't want him to leave. And I couldn't, I was like, I know this is not who I am, but I can't explain to you what is going on. Mm-hmm. And I started on a mission to figure out what was happening with me. And what I learned through all of my research, because my regular doctor was just really not helpful. She basically was like, yeah, you're in your 40s. What I learned was it was my hormones. My hormones were at the root of all of those changes that I was experiencing, that when I stopped to look at them really did kind of track with my cycle. And when I went to my doctor with all that information, she was like, yep, sorry, you're in your 40s. I can put you on the pill and give you an IUD. And I was like, it's not really viable for me. That's not what I want. So I dug deeper. And I discovered the work of Sara Gottfried, who is an integrative functional MD. Not sure of the exact term, if those two terms are interchangeable, so I apologize if I use the wrong one. She's a OBGYN, Harvard trained. And her take for women is that you can really do a lot through lifestyle. And a lot of that comes through what you're eating. So I delved into her work and I joined her program that was an online program, and I went through it. It was a 21-day program, and I was incredibly fortunate that I resolved every single one of those symptoms for myself by changing what I ate. But along the way, I met some really amazing women, and I started to talk with other people because around me, no one was talking about this. And I will admit, as a younger person in my 20s and 30s, my periods were kind of non-events for me. And so I didn't know that other people were struggling with them. But in starting this process for myself, I discovered that lots and lots of women who aren't dealing with perimenopause, they're just dealing with regular old life, are having these sorts of issues on the regular in their daily existence. And it is hugely impactful to you as a performer when you need your voice to work well, and you need to be, functional to perform and feel like you can commit to schedules, that you're not having to look at the calendar and be like, well, could I do this then? I don't know if I could pull that off. What if I have to cancel? So it kind of, to me, went along with my career of looking at how the body works from the musculoskeletal standpoint to suddenly think, wow, how is this other side of things? How is our nutrition really impacting our bodies as well? And one of the women that I met through this program who was sort of serving as an ambassador, I'm, again, not sure if that's the exact correct title, so forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. She was an ambassador in this program that I did named Jessica Fashion. And Jessica and I just kind of connected. It was just a little bit random. And we got to talking, and it turns out that she had a background as a singer and a classroom music teacher, and had gone on to become a holistic health counselor. And she had worked as part of through this program that Sarah Gottfried offered. And we connected and just became kind of fast friends. Our lives are very similar, and I really respected what she knew about the body and what she could help me with, and is just an incredible resource, and really understands the life of a singer and what we need. And she and I have stayed in close contact since that time. And we had a conversation recently about how frustrating it can be as a woman to go to your doctor and feel dismissed when you bring up symptoms, whether it's your primary care or your OBGYN. And our sort of mutual desire to have a revolution on behalf of women to really get the education that they need into their hands to empower them, that you can make changes, relatively simple changes. I'm not saying it's easy. I will not say it's easy. Relatively simple changes about what you eat and how powerfully that can impact the balance of hormones in your body, so that it doesn't matter if you're 17, if you're 27, 37, 47, 57, you can be postmenopausal and still affect change in your body and your hormones based on what you eat. You still have those hormones, even though they aren't at levels at which to cause you to menstruate. There is so much that we can each do. And as I said, it's relatively simple when you stop and think about it. It's not based on any kind of a fad diet, and I admit that I put things like Whole30 and keto into fad diets, Atkins. I think we have ways of looking at nutrition and then we drift away from them. And what I like about the information that I learned is that it's very much rooted in research, because that's who Sarah Gottfried is as an MD. And I think Jessica has kind of her own spin on things based both on her experience, which is very extensive, and what she's learned throughout her training. So next Thursday, October 24th at noon Eastern Standard Time, we are teaming up to host an event called Fix It With Your Fork. And I really want to get the word out to singers and voice teachers and other voice professionals. I would love it if we had some laryngologists and speech language pathologists who may be getting complaints from singers that are related to changes that are hormone-based. To join us on Zoom for this talk. It'll last about an hour. You'll have a chance to ask questions. I'm really, really excited to be sharing this information with the singing world. I think it's so, so, so needed for us because it's just not widely known. I will put the link in the comments, and it's $27 for the event. If you can't join us live, I'm going to record it, and everyone who signs up will get a link to the recording, and you'll have it forever. You can watch it as many times as you want. So help me spread the word about this event, and I hope that you will join me. And if you have any questions, pop them into the comments or shoot me a quick email or a message, and I will answer them just as fast as I can. So have an awesome Wednesday, and look for more information about this event coming up. Take care, y'all.